everyone, and welcome to the 4th episode of The Journal, webcasting live from Centennial College. I'm your host, Sheena Klein.
And I'm your host, Tanya Hosten. Today on The Journal, Armstrong covers a live performance of a Toronto-based Brazilian drum group, Samba Squad.
So, Tanya, I heard you spent some time with this up-and-upcoming swimsuit designer.
Yes, I did. Her name's Naz Swimwear. And her designs are so cool and they're really hot. Aren't you looking for a bathing suit?
Yes.
Okay, I'll let her know. Okay. Anyways, plus our reporter, Alessia Peluso, takes a look at the Black and White Gala at the Design Exchange. It's an annual fundraising event that promotes design education across Canada.
Also, reporter Reza Shojaei looks into how plastic bags free is affecting the people in Toronto. And in another story, Yari gives us an overview of the Persian culture in North End of Toronto.
This should be great, and Sheena, you know what? I can't wait to see all these stories. So in the last show, funk musician Bobby Dreadful prepared for a show and took a trip up north. Well, guess what, Sheena?
What?
Bobby's here performing live.
Are you serious? I can't wait. Anyways, let's take a look at our other story. Tanya, can you imagine a band with 60 members or more in it?
Not really, but you know what? Don't they only play drums and percussion?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Well, in the first story, reporter Armstrong focuses on Toronto's own Samba Squad. They currently are rehearsing for their upcoming performance at the Lula Lounge on December the 11th. Samba Squad is an innovative percussion ensemble that is forging new directions by mixing world rhythms with the sound of Afro-Brazilian and national samba drumming. Let's take a look.
Samba Squad was formed over 10 years ago by Rick Lazar and his partner Janet. The first rehearsal happened in January of 1999, and since then the squad has grown into a notable musical force within the city. Growing in size and recognition, the squad now has a regular gig at the Lula Lounge, as well as a slew of performances and videos, including their own DVDs, CDs, and televised performances such as City TV's 2008 New Year's Bash. I sat down with Rick to talk about the squad and that very first rehearsal.
There was 9 people at that rehearsal, and 2 of them, which are here today, Tony, Pierre, and Liba, they were at that first rehearsal, and it really just grew from there. Just had its organic life, and it just took shape.
The squad is currently preparing and rehearsing for their upcoming show, which will take place December 11th at the Lula Lounge in Toronto. Although they are now a well-rehearsed unit, like anything else, it took time and practice to get there.
I remember the first performance, we were good for about the first 10 minutes, and then it kind of got shaky, and things just grow. And it's grown, and here we are 10 years later with 2 CDs and a DVD, and working on our new concert DVD and our 3rd CD, so it's grown into something. Come for different reasons. Some people like just love drumming and never get a chance to do it. So sometimes just people's lives they go in different directions. Something, and drumming is something they wanted to do and never had the opportunity. Some of them find a joy in it and want to become part of it, and others come and go. So it's really an individual thing. If you find joy in drumming and the dance that goes with it, if you're into that kind of thing, it's very inspiring and joyous.
I actually got started at York. Rick teaches at York. He teaches the same thing in the Samba class. I was walking through the halls one day and I heard this booming sound. I was like, okay, what is that? So I went to go check it out, and it was the Samba York class. So I watched the performance for a bit. At the end of it, I was like, oh my god, how do I get into this? And someone had just mentioned to me that it was open to non-majors and anybody can take it. Wherever Samba Squad goes, I'll be there.
Yo, when I say Samba, y'all say squad. Samba, Samba. Come on, when I say Samba, y'all say squad. Come on, Samba, Samba. Yo, who got the buckets of lifelong quest? I searched it all my life and it led me out west. It's a worldwide conquest, a global folk fest, the manifest from Budapest to Bucharest. If suppressed, it causes unrest. Your body feels stressed and in need of a life vest. Yo, nurse, stat, send a blood test too late. Got a cardiac arrest. And what will be your last request. Ha! To jam with Samba Squad, and sure to guess. Hey, yo, who got the funk? Wait for it. I can't hear you. Who got the funk? We got the funk. Well, double time. I said, who got the funk? We got the funk. Who got the funk? We got the funk. I said, who got the funk? We got the funk. Hey, yo, who got the funk? Who got the funk? Squad!
When we do our club shows, it's different from the streets because we have singers and musicians, and we're rehearsing the song forms. Singers will be here on Sunday and we'll rehearse some more.
Samba Squad incorporates many different genres into their grooves, allowing them to draw on talent such as renowned Cuban vocalist Alberto to ramp up their live performance. After 10 years, the squad is still going and stronger than ever. They're constantly looking for new members, and the Samba camp is open to anyone to learn this powerful form of drumming. Samba Squad, one heart, one mind, one groove.
Wow, Sheena, that was great. Such a rich variety of sounds.
Yeah, in preparation for a live show with such a big band, it should be really hard. I mean, can you imagine organizing so much people into something so big?
Not
It's
really,
ridiculous.
but you know what? Stay tuned. Coming up on the Journal, and we have a live performance by Bobby Dreadful and the Breastfed Superheroes. So keep it on play. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Journal. Hey, Tanya, why don't you tell us a little about the upcoming story?
Well, Sheena, I spent the day with this amazing swimsuit designer, Naz Swimwear.
Hey, you know what? I never actually heard about swimsuit designers. Like, I don't really see them around.
No, because we actually just see their stuff in the stores. But you know what? Here's your chance. Let's check it out.
The Fashion District, located in downtown Toronto, on Queen Street West, is a place one can find chic, luxurious, and sexy bathing suits by Naz Swimwear. The meaning of the name Naz, in the Persian language, means sweet, fitting in perfectly with the designs and look of the garments.
My fashion background goes back to when I was about 2 or 3 years old, as far back as I can remember. And my parents telling me that when I was 2 or 3 years old, I used to wake up in the morning and go into my mom's sewing kit and start to cut up the tablecloths. And when they would wake up from bed, they would have seen that I'd sewn together a purse. I used to make my own clothes. And then once I started getting older, I started working with domestic patterns and sewing machines. And after I graduated from college, I got into lingerie, but I feel like I wasn't passionate about it. You know, I felt like I enjoyed the construction of it. I enjoyed making pieces for myself, but until I started doing swimwear was when I actually found that I was passionate about doing something. So I don't see myself doing anything other than swimwear in my life.
I'm always curious to know where an artist gets their inspiration to create their own designs. Many have said they have a different world behind their eyes.
Everything I look at, you know, being a designer, you would know what I meant by everything that you look at, you always design something around what you're looking at. So if I'm looking at something that's red, I think, what could I put with that red to make it, you know, a really nice swimsuit? So everything, I can't just say, you know, everything I look at every day inspires me to design something around based on whatever I've gone through that day. I've been trying to do a lot of high-waisted bikinis. As you can tell, this is semi-high-waisted bikini. I used suspenders in a couple of past pieces, but in this one I wanted to make it kind of like a gold chain to tie it into the collection as well. So I do two kinds of swimwear. I do swimmable swimwear would be this piece here, where you can wear it in the water, you can wear it at the beach, by the pool. You don't have to worry about the metal rusting. The fabric is good swimmable fabric where it's not going to ruin after you wear it in the water a couple of times. That would be the whole collection here, would be a swimmable swim piece. And then I have fashion swimwear. Now the difference between the two, as you can tell, fashion swimwear is using, you know, this belt that goes along with this suit is a shiny gold belt. So if you wore this in the water, it would rust. I've done 10 to 20 fashion shows in my lifetime. They do help because I get to show people what my line looks like, who I am. There's an upcoming designer in Toronto named Nazi. You know, people have seen my stuff, and I feel like all the freelance work that I have done has been from people being at my fashion shows and word of mouth. So I do feel like fashion shows have helped me out greatly in this city.
Success is a designer's dream. It's all they live and breathe for. But at the end of the day, where does it take them?
So bottom line is I live for fashion. I love swimwear, it's my passion. So keep an eye out for me within the next 5 years. I'll be downtown Toronto in my boutique, Naz Swimwear Boutique. And keep an eye out for my website as well, nazswimwear.com, upcoming at the end of the month.
So Tanya, do you think Nazi could design a swimsuit just for me?
Definitely. That'll be my Christmas gift to you. So you know you can enjoy it in Jamaica, Trinidad, or even Grenada. But anyways, we still have lots more interesting stuff coming up, Sheena.
Yeah, coming up we have a story about the Black and White Gala, the annual fundraising event held at the Design Exchange. It promotes design education across Canada, an event. One of our reporters, Alessia Peluso, spoke with Vice Chair of Design Exchange, R&B singer Cynthia Moore, one of the performers there. So let's take a look.
Located in the downtown financial district on the corner of King and Bay, the former Toronto Stock Exchange building now houses one of the leading design centers in Canada. Since 1994, the Design Exchange has stimulated the debate over the role played by design in culture, industry, and business. Each year, the DX holds a Black and White fundraising gala to support youth education programs, nurturing the next generation of design thinkers.
Well, I think it promotes for people who don't know about design, who aren't aware of design, the understanding that it affects every aspect of our life, from the car you drive, to the fork you pick up, to the glass you drink from, to the outfit you wear. Design is everywhere, and I think that's what this event does.
The night is full of activities based on an annual theme. This year's theme, commotion. Around 800 people, including some of the big decision makers in the design world, attend the gala.
We have amazing capacity in design. I think the challenge is really to pull it all together so that we can show the world how amazingly important and creative Canadian design is. We need things like procurement policies at the government level, very pragmatic things that other countries do to make sure that their designers are front and center in the ways that they present their countries. And Canada should and can do that because we have the caliber of designers here.
To further demonstrate commotion, there was a mix of performers and activities throughout the venue. The main stage area of the party room hosted large televisions showing sci-fi videos and animated clips of robots, moving lips, and blinking eyes. There were also breakdancers, elaborate lighting effects, laser shows, a very hip oxygen bar, and a live performance from artist Cynthia Moore.
As an artist and as a little bit of a designer for myself, I really honestly hope that we'll always have these things, because without it, you know, art and design and music and drama, it's all expression. If we don't have these things to be able to express ourselves, then what do we have, really? You know, when we go to the club and we dance, we're expressing ourselves. When we go out and we buy a canvas, we get a paint, we're expressing ourselves. When we put together technology and innovation, we're expressing ourselves. Everything is about expression.
The DX Black and White Gala is held in October of each year and has grown into one of the most anticipated events in the design industry.
Well, you know what, Sheena? That was pretty cool. You know what? I will be attending that event next year. But anyways, we still have more stories coming up. And don't forget our live performance by Bobby Dreadful and the Breastfed Superheroes. We'll be right back after this short break, so keep it on play right here on The Journal.
Welcome back. For those of you who just tuned in, I'm Sheena Klein, and you're watching The Journal. So Tanya, what's coming up next?
Okay, so next, our reporter, Reza Shojaei, looked at how the 5-cent fee is affecting Toronto and its residents. So Sheena, what do you think about the new law?
Well, I know it helps the environment by reducing the volume of plastic bags, and the city of Toronto has a goal of diverting 70% of waste from the landfill.
You know what? It sounds very interesting, so let's see how it all works.
Toronto's 5-cent bag bylaw meant to Torontonians? Well, we're gonna find out on this episode of The Journal. At first, I decided to get an environmentalist perspective on the Toronto bag bylaw. So I sat down for an interview with Toronto Environmental Alliance community campaigner Heather Marshall.
When the bylaw was actually being discussed at the Public Works and Infrastructure Committee meetings, that was the first stage of it getting decided. Our organization actually went to those meetings and advocated for plastic bags to be banned instead of there being a 5-cent fee. It does seem kind of extreme to go from, you know, being able to use bags to not having them available. But in our opinion, you know, where there have been plastic bag bans, it's been very effective, and where there have been fees, it's hard to say, you know, whether a fee will be good or bad, how people will respond to it. So at the time, before we knew, you know, how things would go, we thought banning it would be the best option, especially because it costs so much to deal with the plastic bags at the end of the line, whether it ends up in the garbage or as litter or in a recycling facility, wherever it ends up, it's still problematic. So we thought, you know, the best option is really to opt for paper bags, compostable bags, but more especially using reusable bags and not using bags at all. From what we've been hearing at the provincial level right now, they're having a lot of problems recycling plastic bags and other types of really thin plastic film in the recycling industry. So it's actually, aside from the fact that it's causing problems in the recycling bins, when it actually gets to a recycling facility, it's actually jamming up the machinery. In Toronto, we use about 460 million plastic bags every single year, single-use bags. And right now, the City of Toronto has a 5-cent fee program. That money is up to the store where it gets used. Some of it is going and being donated to certain programs. But the thing is that there are still a lot of plastic bags out there. Right now, the City of Toronto has a 70% target. They want to reduce the number of plastic bags in Toronto 70% by 2012. So even if they do meet that target, that means there's still a whole lot of plastic bags out there, over 100 million bags still being used, even if they reach that target.
Wow, over 100 million bags still being used with a 70% decrease in usage. Maybe a retail expert can tell me about the business side of the bylaw. So I decided to meet up with Richard Montgomery.
We knew that the city were preparing to launch this. We were well aware that the consumer would assume that it was a retailer's tax versus a city tax. So it was important that, you know, first of all, the signing and the collateral was up so that the customer understood that it was in fact the responsibility of the city and the mayor, Dave Miller, who wanted to really obviously change human behavior in terms of our need to improve our environment. The grocery store business, we're in the department store merchandise, so it's a little easier if you go into a Loblaws or Dominion carrying with your plastic container. We don't quite do that at the Bay, nor should we. And we needed to come up with another device or way making it easier for the customer. So we do have our own paper bags and like these. And so we believe that when a customer shops in, they're spending 50, 60, 100, 1,000, maybe 2,000, depending upon the garment, that there's a degree of caring for the garment and how it looks. And so how we've come around that is paper, environmental friendly paper bags. And so 90% of the time, the customers, we do offer the experience of the merchandise folded nicely in tissue paper, with perhaps a sticker. It is placed in, as they said, the paper bags. They're all environmental friendly.
Okay, so now that we know how important to the businesses and our environment plastic bags are, I thought maybe we should ask the city of what their position on the issue is.
There's no doubt that the use of plastic bag is a great concern for the environment and in essence clogging up landfills because they're so widely available. They're cheap to a large extent, and most people don't think about the problems associated with the usage. But there's also the problem associated with the manufacturing of these particular bags as well. So I think that there is a need for us to continue to provide information to educate the public on the impact of plastic bag uses. We really need to reinforce the communication piece so that people can realize the benefits in that they can minimize the efforts of trying to undermine the whole notion of not supporting such bylaws and so on, because you provide other options for them. And if you provide other options for them, people will go and gravitate towards it. But if you simply take a hammer and you're going to force it upon them, some people will rebel and will continue to have plastic bags that are going into our landfills and so on. But also the other thing we need to do is to encouraging more companies to come up with other types of methods to help consumers to be able to get products home without having to put them in bags, and or the manufacturing of products and minimizing the use of plastic. I think overall we learned that if we make a contribution to and an effort to help the environment, obviously we're doing that for our own future and the future of our children. And I think it's important for us to understand that we all have a role to play in supporting and protecting the environment.
Well, Tanya, whenever I go shopping, I bring my own plastic bags anyway, so.
Me too. At the end of the day, I don't really want to spend 5 cents on a bag, right?
And we're helping out the environment, so
there you go.
So coming up, we have a live performance by the funk band Bobby Dreadful and the Breastfed Superheroes, and one more story to show.
Well, Sheena, as you know, Canada is very proud to represent a multicultural society. And our next story's main focus, our reporter, Arma Yari, has an inside look at the Persian community in the north end of Toronto.
That's right. Let's take a look.
Iranians are one of the largest population of people in Toronto. The community lives in north of Toronto, starting from North York to Thornhill and Richmond Hill, where you can find many Persian stores like bookstores, restaurants, clubs, and grocery stores. Persian Plaza is almost known to every Iranian living in Toronto. It's located at Yonge Street, just south of Steeles. We walked to the most popular Persian grocery store called Super Khorak. It's where you can find spices, nuts, traditional bread, delicious sweets, and tasty Persian foods. Here is another place called Uptown Flavor. Uptown Flavor is located at Yonge and 16th. It's a hookah bar where it's more like a community club rather than a place to eat. Young people come here to relax, chat, and smoke shisha.
تابستون سال 2008 بود که با یکی از دوستای صمیمیم که الان پارتنرم هستش تصمیم گرفتیم که آپتاون فلیور رو باز کنیم. طبق ریسرچی که کردیم دیدیم که تو منطقه ریچموند هیل هیچ بیزنسی نیستش که سبک بیزنس ما باشه، سبک سنتی باشه که بتونه جامعه ایرانی دور هم جمع کنه. به همین دلیل تصمیم گرفتیم که یه جای سنتی باز کنیم که اسمشو بذاریم آپتاون فلیور.
It's a great place for us and friends to come and get together and enjoy one another's company. And mostly it reminds me of Iran, back home, where we used to go out and smoke shisha and relax and chill out. And it's a hobby in Iran, so I really enjoy it because it really reminds me back home from Iran.
is a very popular hobby in Iran. The way it works is that we pour water at the bottom part, tobacco on top, followed by foil and coal on the top.
I came here a long time ago with a couple of my Persian friends from my neighborhood, actually, and that was where we met. Actually, it was where we met for the first time, and we've been coming back ever since because the food is delicious and it's just a really nice atmosphere. It's a really nice place to come and relax.
هدف اصلیم از باز کردن آپتون فلیور این بود که بتونیم یه جایی داشته باشیم برای جوانای ایرانی، یه جای اجتماعی و تفریحی که بتونن بیان اونجا تفریح سالم داشته باشن، با بقیه ایرانیایی که مثل خودشون هستن آشنا بشن و یه محیط خوبی داشته باشه مثل ایران. یه حالتی شده که الان حالت پاتوق شده برای بچهای ایرانی، میان اونجا یه محیط دوستانه و خوب و گرمی که همه بین هم دیگه دارن.
Just like many cultures, Persian culture is very rich, and its members are proud of it.
You know what, Sheena? That was so interesting and informative, and it's always good to know about different cultures in Toronto.
I totally agree, especially in a country like Canada when there's like over 100 cultures, you know?
Definitely. So coming up next, we have a live performance by Bobby Dreadful and the Breastfed Superheroes. We'll be right back, so keep it on play right here on The Journal. So welcome back. Here we have Toronto's own funk band, Bobby Dreadful and the Breastfed Superheroes, a band that was formed 4 years ago, has an eclectic, soulful sound. So take it away, boys.
Too much hard living, so tired of chasing fantasies. And I can't recall, no I can't recall the last time love was newsworthy, as if they're mad at me. Hey! Even still, it's such a wonderful world. It's such a wonderful world. I think we should shout it when the truth stares us in the eyes. We're talking about it, no longer can they paralyze us with love. Here we go, yeah. Even still, it's such a wonderful world. Even still, it's such a wonderful world. Even still, it's such a wonderful world. Even still, such a wonderful world. Such a wonderful world.
Everyone, that was A Wonderful World by Bobby Dreadful and a member of the Breastfed Superheroes. For those of you who love the band, I'm sure everyone did, come in for a live performance on January the 9th at the Bread and Circus at Kensington Market.
Well, guys, that's the show for today. Please make sure next Thursday, the 5th episode of The Journal, live at 4 p.m., webcasting live on Centennial On Demand. See you next time for more great stories and more live performances. But before we go, here's another live performance, Bobby Dreadful and the Breastfed Superheroes.
Yeah, all yard massive, big up, one love sing. She just bought a brand new Corvette. She's going for a drive. She said I can come too if I am cool and kiss her thighs. Her blouse blows open from the breeze. I pretend I didn't see. She catches my eye. I start to reply. She says, now you owe me. Mrs. Jones, what could I possibly give? Mrs. Jones, you put a spell on me. Mrs. Jones, what could I possibly give? Mrs. Jones, you put a spell on me.
Let me tell you what she do. Pose on toes, unbuttoning blouse. When she take up position and tear pantyhose. Well, what a thing, me heart froze. A freaking plain clothes. Come fi arrest me, rat it nobody na go. She hypnotize me, mystify me. Oh, how she move the thighs. So make she go and do the thing. I watch it sparkle in her eye. Well, what a sweet piece. Me not go tell her no lie. But me have to take a flex. When she say she want a dive.
Yeah, Nixie, y'all. Mrs. Jones, what could I possibly give? Mrs. Jones, you put a spell on